You're listening to a Brooklyn Nets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Nets fans! Welcome to my 2020-2021 Brooklyn Nets season preview here on the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and I've been looking forward to this since July 1st, 2019. Last year was really irrelevant. Would it have been nice to go on a crazy run last year? Yeah. But that's not what we signed up for. We signed up for a big run this year and the year after. It was never about last year. So for the past 17 months, I have waited for this moment for the Brooklyn Nets with a healthy Kevin Durant to take the floor. Let me tell you, it's going to be a really fun season. I think the best way to do this preview is to go over each of the starters in order. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. Do the same thing for the bench, then the reserves, and the coaching staff. I think that's the best way to give this some structure. We all know who the starting point guard is of the Nets. Mr. Flat Earth himself, Kyrie Irving. There is one thing I want to clear up with Irving. He wouldn't speak to the media. He called them pawns. He backed off that. And now he's burning sage and walking around the arena before practice. The media thing I don't care about. This is a guy who's been skewered by the media constantly. When he was talking about the players not going to Disney for the bubble, as that not being the best way to raise awareness for Black Lives Matter, everyone killed him for it. Later on, he was proven right. So I understand him being skeptical of the media. Having said that, when you do that, you invite criticism. In a fight with the media, especially in New York, it never ends well. Can Kyrie shut everyone up by playing great? Yes. And there's no question in my mind that he's gonna play great. 25 points per game, 48% from the field, 40% from beyond the arc, and let's say 6 assists per game. That would shut a lot of people from the media up. As for saging, which is what it's called when you burn sage and walk around, it's a Native American tradition. Admittedly, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know he had Native American blood. So, hey, good for him for keeping his culture alive. If he gets permission to do it from the arena staff, the players are okay with it, the coaches are okay with it, go for it. It's really not a big deal. Is it a little left of center? Yes. But whatever. We've had players that have been left of center go on to do great things in the NBA. Cough, cough, Dennis Rodman. It doesn't bother me. Let Kyrie do his thing. As long as he's not hurting the team, which he's not. In no way, shape, or form is he hurting the team. I don't have a problem with anything he does. It does seem like Spencer Dinwiddie is going to start at shooting guard for the Nets. Meaning that Karis LeVert is going to move to the bench. It's very interesting. I'm not crazy about it because when Irving and Dinwiddie were on the floor together last year, the Nets did not play well. But if anyone can get those 2 point guards to work together, it's a former point guard in Steve Nash. If he thinks that's what's best, let's try it. He's the head coach. That's his right. I'm okay with giving it a shot. I do think Dinwiddie will get anywhere from 12 to 15 points this year. His assists will fall, let's say, only 4 per game. He'll shoot over 40% from the field. He's got to improve his 3-point game. Last year, he only shot 30.8% from beyond the arc. That's not going to cut it. The Nets are going to do a lot of pick and rolls. They're going to do a lot of up-tempo stuff. You've got to be able to shoot. If Dinwiddie can't shoot, that's a problem. Having said that, I love Dinwiddie. Fantastic story. If anyone embodies what it means to be a Sean Marks Brooklyn Net, it's Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he'll hold his own in any role he's used in. Starting shooting guard, 6th man, whatever. He'll be fine. You don't have to worry about this guy not shooting well. Jumbo Joe Harris. He got his big boy contract this offseason. Let's see what he can do with it. We all know what Joe Harris is. He's a 3-point shooter. And he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA. I do expect him to shoot around 45% from beyond the arc. I've seen him do it before. 2 years ago, he shot 47.4% from beyond the arc. A lot of these sets that the Nets run are gonna result in Joe Harris being left wide open. Everyone's going to focus on Durant. Everyone's going to focus on Kyrie. They're going to forget about Joe Harris. It's going to be catch and shoot. That's how he's going to be used primarily. Sometimes that can rub a player the wrong way. A guy like Kevin Love was used like that in David Blatt's first year as Cavs head coach. It didn't work well. It was clear that the Cavaliers needed to run more plays for Kevin Love. The wing is a question mark for the Nets. Do I think it's going to all work out? Yes. Harris re-signed knowing full well what his role was going to be this year. Is his points per game going to go down? Yes. Is his 3-point percentage going to go up? Yes. If Harris doesn't have an issue with being used as a catch and shooter, It's going to be absolutely lethal. Alright, now it's time to talk about Kevin Durant. Let's be honest. The Nets are only going to go as far as Kevin Durant takes them. I don't think I've ever watched preseason basketball as closely as I did when Durant was on the floor against the Wizards and Celtics. Let me tell you, he looked like the Durant of old. I feel like you almost forgot how great he was since he missed the whole season last year. This guy is a future Hall of Famer. He's one of the best players in the NBA. He's back. The thunderous dunk against the Wizards announced it to the league. He's back. He's ready to regain his title of being the best player in the NBA. There was a point where he was the best player in the NBA. Can he get there again? If anyone can, it's Kevin Durant. If anyone can come back from the type of injury that he had and get to that elite of a level, it is someone like Durant. He's going to average 27 points per game. He's going to have like 7 rebounds per game. He's going to have more assists this year per game than he's ever had before. His career high was set in 18-19 with 5.9. I think he could get 7 assists per game this year. Steve Nash is going to put the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to be used in a LeBron James, Ben Simmons type role. It's a very smart move by Nash. Again, if anyone can make it work, it's a former all-star point guard. Durant will shoot over 50% from the field. He will shoot 37-38% from beyond the arc. He's back. Every NBA team needs to watch out. We all know who DeAndre Jordan is. He's an old school center. Double-double threat every night. He plays good defense. Not as great as it once was, but still good. He can get the job done. I think what's going to be very important for the Nets this year is for Jordan to pass the ball. And what I mean by that is, when he gets the ball in the low post, he's going to get a ton of attention. Can he find that open man? Can he kick it out to a wide open shooter? Can he find the cutter? Can he finish if he has to? There are moments where you want a guy like DeAndre Jordan or Steven Adams or Rudy Gobert, an old school center, if he has a smaller guy on him, to just post that guy up and dunk it. Jordan could be the forgotten man in this Nets offense. But his rebounding will be so important. I like Jordan a lot. The forgotten man from the clean sweep. Moving on now to the bench. And I'm going to start with Karis LeVert. I don't know if he's going to be the primary ball handler off the bench. It could be him, it could be Shamet, but I'll start with LeVert because he is the best player that I haven't mentioned yet. It's a very intriguing idea to have him off the bench. This guy has gotten better every year he's been in the NBA. Some people will say that he's a star in this league or has star potential. I'll say this, if he stays healthy, he has the ability to put up 20 points per game. He's not going to do that for the Nets. He'll get 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists. He'll play well defensively. He's an underrated defender. He'll shoot efficiently. Let's say anywhere from 42 to 43%. He'll shoot the ball well. The thing with LeVert is just health. Can he stay healthy? If he gets hurt and misses substantial time, I can make the argument that you move Dinwiddie to the bench to give you a true sixth man. Because there's no one on the Nets bench that can give you that spark like LeVert. Landry Shamet, I thought, was a really good get by the Nets. I really like Shamet. He's actually only 5 days older than me. Really good shooter. You put him and Joe Harris on the floor together, it's going to rain threes. He's not the best defender in the world, but he is capable of having a substantial impact on games. Wouldn't surprise me if he got 9 points per game and 3 assists per game. I see a world where Landry Shamet is the primary ball handler for the Nets in certain moments. Moving on now to a guy who really underwhelmed last year. He wasn't awful, but you wanted him to be better than he was. And that is Taurean Prince. His points per game went down. His assists per game went down. His steals per game went down. His field goal percentage went way down from 44.1% to 37.6%. His three-point percentage took a major hit, 39% to 33.9%. His free throw percentage went down, 81.9% to 79.8%. But the Nets are going to count on him for big minutes. He's not an awful player. There are worse players in the NBA than Taurean Prince. He did put up 12 points per game last year. He did get 6 rebounds, a career high. He's not bad. Is he overpaid? Yes. But he gives the Nets a guy who they can throw in for salary matching purposes, and you won't be too upset to lose him. I mean, James Harden hasn't been traded yet. The Heat are supposedly out of the running. So it's either the Nets or Sixers. You could throw in Taurean Prince in a James Harden trade and you wouldn't miss him at all. Then again, you could throw in anyone in a James Harden trade except Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and you wouldn't miss him at all. Prince isn't bad, but I'm not crazy about him having the type of role that the Nets are gonna give him. In a perfect world, I'd only give him like 15 minutes per game, if that. It wouldn't surprise me if he's closer to 20, based on how the season could shake out. Jeff Green is kind of interesting. There's talk about using him as a center in a crazy small ball lineup. I mean, in certain cases, I'm okay with it. He did it last year, and he had a good season. Put up 9.5 points per game. Just under 3 rebounds per game. Shot the ball efficiently. Not the best from beyond the arc, but he's never been that great of a shooter. I don't hate the idea, depending on the opposing 5. If they don't have a true big man in, go for it. See if it can work. You have Mike D'Antoni as an assistant coach. Let's try it. I think Green will be fine. I really like Jeff Green. He's capable of taking over a game. He has games where he can put up 20 points, and he also has games where he can put up 0 points. He's very, very streaky. The best place for him is on the bench in a not-so-meaningful role. He is like the 9th or 10th guy off the bench. That's the perfect place for Green. I do like him. I really do. Wouldn't surprise me if he got double-digit points per game this year. And I think his rebounds are going to go up big time. Let's say 4 rebounds per game. I think he'll be fine. I really do. I don't have any major issues with any of the guys in the Nets rotation. The guy I have the most issue with is Prince, and it wouldn't stun me if he had a bounce-back season. Moving on now to Jared Allen, one of the best defensive centers in the NBA, an old-school center, double-double threat every night. The guy can block everyone. Him as your backup center? That's pretty darn good. The one thing that's kind of interesting is he's going to be a free agent after not this coming season, but the season after. What kind of a contract is he going to want? If he wants like $10 million a year, I can live with that. $15 million a year, you're pushing it. I don't know if I do that. This is a very important year for Allen. There's no question about it. It'll be interesting to see how he does coming off the bench for the whole season. First time he's ever done that. Alright, now it's time to get to the reserves. It's pretty good when you have Bruce Brown as a reserve. One thing that doesn't get talked about enough, the Nets have really quality depth. Brown, Kurucs, TLC. These are guys who could play meaningful roles on most of the teams in the NBA. Brown is a really good defensive guard. He can clamp up a lot of players. I'll tell you, he's better defensively than a guy like Dinwiddie or Joe Harris. It wouldn't surprise me if in late game situations, the Nets put Bruce Brown in. That's how good he is defensively. Last year, he averaged over a steal a game. Put up almost 9 points per game. He's a good player. It wouldn't bother me at all if he was a primary backup. I like Bruce Brown a lot. The Nets got him for Zan and Musa. Nice job, Sean Marks. Tyler Johnson is a guy who Marks has always liked. He wanted Johnson for a long time. He signed him to a big offer sheet that the Heat ended up matching. Johnson wasn't worth that contract, but on a minimum salary, he's fine. He played well in the bubble. For the Nets, he put up 12 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and 3 assists per game. I wouldn't have been too upset with him as the primary backup. Could you have done better? Yes. But the way he played in the bubble, 40.5% from the field, just under 39% from beyond the arc, he had earned that right. I'm surprised he had to settle for a reserve role. Like I said, the Nets have really good depth. Speaking of guys who balled out in the bubble, Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot was a guy who I really didn't like. Then when the Nets went to Disney, he was one of their best players. In the seeding games, he put up just under 15 points per game and 4.5 rebounds per game, and was nearly 50-40-90. In the Raptors series, he put up 16 points per game. Wasn't as efficient as he was in the seeding games, but still 16 points per game. Like I said, it's a really good team when he's not even going to get regular minutes. I wouldn't have had much of a problem with him in the rotation to start off with. I know I'm saying that about everyone, but it's the truth. The Nets really have great depth. Rodions Kurucs has struggled to find a niche in the NBA. There have been moments where he's looked really good, and there have been moments where he hasn't gotten on the floor in almost an eternity. I don't think he's a bad player. There are certainly worse players than him slated for meaningful roles in the NBA. If he's ever going to make it in the NBA, it's not going to be with the Brooklyn Nets. It is a shame because he's not a bad player. And Nick Claxton may miss some time to start off the season. It may open the door for a guy like Reggie Perry to get some garbage time minutes. I like Claxton. I liked him a lot coming out of Georgia. He showed glimpses of being able to shoot. He's 6'11". If he can shoot regularly, he's going to make it in this league. Could he make it for the Nets? It's possible, but Jared Allen needs to be traded for him to have any real impact on the team. The Nets also have Jeremiah Martin and Reggie Perry on two-way deals. It's not worth going too in-depth on them. Martin's a schmagegi. I don't expect much from him. I like Reggie Perry a lot. I loved it when the Nets were able to take him in the second round. He's going to push Claxton. Make no mistake about it. If in garbage time minutes Perry really plays well, and Claxton's injury keeps him out for an extended period of time, he may usurp Claxton on the depth chart. Perry does have that ability. That was a sneaky good move by Sean Marks. It could also be a sneaky good move by Marks to have hired Steve Nash as head coach. We have no idea how he's going to be as a head coach. It seems like he's going to focus a lot of his energy on communication, maintaining a sense of camaraderie on the team, and helping guys like Durant with ball handling. And it'll also help Kyrie and Dinwiddie coexist. Look, there's no question that it was a surprising hire. You can't kill the guy because you have no idea how he's going to do as a head coach. It doesn't take a genius to make these pieces work. You have two fantastic players in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. You have some great supporting characters in Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, and Jared Allen. The thing that the Nets did, which was really smart, was surround Nash with an all-star coaching staff. You take a look at his assistant coaches, Mike D'Antoni, Adam Harrington, Royal Ivey, Tiago Splitter, Ime Udoka, Jacques Vaughn, and Amari Stoudemire. That's as good a unit of assistant coaches as you can have in the NBA. I think Nash will be fine, but the ultimate test is going to be, can he push these guys over the hump? Can they win the NBA Finals? That's going to be the ultimate final exam for Nash. All in all, in a 72-game season, this team is capable of winning 50 games. Maybe 55. Anything less than an NBA Finals appearance will be considered a disappointment by a sizable percentage of Nets fans. In fact, there are some that are going to say it's title or bust. I don't know if I'd go that far, but look, the Nets have what it takes to win the whole thing. I think they're going to win the whole thing. I think they're going to be the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Are there question marks with the Nets? Absolutely. Are there question marks with every team in the NBA? Absolutely. As for who I think they're going to go up against, you'll have to wait until my NBA preview tomorrow morning. Until then, I am Jacob Valk saying that Branch Rickey had both money and players. He just didn't like to see them mix.